All right, let's talk about legendary dads in Magic. There are over 50 legendary dads in Magic, so we're doing part 1 today. So, Baron Sengir on Olgrotha took over a dwarven castle, and he turned the dwarven princess, Irini, into his vampire daughter. Ambrose Liu, one of the surviving deans of Strixhaven, is the father of Killian Liu, who's one of our core students. He was a part of the cycle of 5 students that included Quint, Dina, all of them. Kieran Nar was the father of Chandra Nalar. I always sort of half-jokingly call him a horrible father because, he and Pia sent Chandra on an illegal smuggling mission by herself, their child with extreme ADHD. Great plan there, guys. Anhelo is the father of Errant, a famous street artist, and is also the father-in-law of Parness, Errant's wife. Aaron Capashen used to be the head of the Capashen clan on Dominaria. His 2 children are Weatherlight mage Rafwin and the famous knight Danitha Capashen. Astor was an old-school Keldon warlord who fought in the first Phyrexian invasion. He was sort of progressive for a Keldon, disappeared into the Golden Orgosi for several generations, and came back to find a granddaughter, Radha, who had united the Keldon clans beneath her banner. Vivectus Asmadi, who is one of the elder dragons of Dominaria. He's the progenitor of all the Shivan dragons, so that would theoretically include Daragaz, as well as the Bladewing clan, including Rorik's Bladewing, Varric's Bladewing, Karok's Bladewing, who is himself the father of Tarok's Bladewing. Emperor Mihail II is the leader of the Vodalian Empire, which rules the seas of Dominaria. He has 2 daughters, Felicia and Maria. Multani, during the original Phyrexian invasion, transplanted a section of the sentient Yavimaya forest to Urborg. Like Multani himself, that section of forest developed its own marrow sorcerer named Muldrotha, and he views her as his daughter. Chromium Ruel, another one of our original Elder Dragons, and probably the most benevolent, outside of maybe Ugin, was the father of Croesus the Purger, who is sort of the primeval dragon of death in the Draconic life cycle. Darien, the king of Keldor at the end of the Ice Age, his daughter, Princess Alexandrite, married the son of the chief of the Balduvian clans. His name was Lothar, and the 2 of them founded New Argive, and their lineage continues to this day, and people like King Darien, the whatever that number is. I think it's like 50-something, 48. Barrin, the founder of the original Talaria, along with Urza. He married a woman named Rain, and together they had a daughter named Hannah, who was one of the heroes on the Weatherlight crew and was killed during the original Phyrexian invasion. Eladamri was an elf from Wrath. His daughter Avila was killed by the Phyrexians and completed and turned into Belby. And then he ends up killing Belby with the same poison used to kill Avila. Sidar Kondo, Sidar means like chief, basically. Kondo had a son named Vuel, and he adopted a boy named Gerard. Vuel's jealousy of Gerard would eventually drive him into the Phyrexians' hands, and he would become Volrath, the original Phyrexian villain of Magic. And Gerard would, of course, become the Weatherlight hero. Gerard was sort of given to Kondo to hide out because the rest of his side of the family, he is not directly related to the other Capashens, although I assume he shares a common ancestor. But his whole family was wiped out because they were part of Urza's Bloodlines project, and he was one of the few final Bloodlines project people left, and the Phyrexians were hunting them. Toshiro Umezawa was not originally from Dominaria. However, after he helped end the Kami War, betraying his patron, the Myojin of Knight's Reach in the process, she transported him to Dominaria. On Dominaria, he would end up founding a legacy that includes Tetsuo. Tetsuo Umezawa is actually the person who killed Nicol Bolas. He took advantage of Bolas's arrogance and basically challenged Bolas to an astral duel. And while the 2 of them, their spirits were in the meditation realm, Tetsuo had cast a spell that destroyed Nicol Bolas's body. However, Nicol Bolas eventually got a new body and began hunting down the Umezawas as sort of a petty grudge. Tetsuko is one of those Umezawas and might be the last one left. It's clear from her portal magic here, she's able to stay a step ahead. I should also note Satoru, who is from Kamigawa, is possibly related to Toshiro, although it may just be he took the name for street cred and no one wants to challenge him on it. Karth the Lion helped Dakin Blackblade escape the clutches of the planeswalker Gaedrone Dahada way back in the time of legends. His family legacy were the Carthalians, or Carthalians, the most famous of which is Jared, who became a planeswalker. He is the star of many, many comics in the original Armada comics, and the Carthalian lineage themselves pop up everywhere. There are many named ones. However, the only other one with a card is Jensen, and he's sort of our modern-day Carthalian and a descendant of Jared. Roga was a leader of Kur Keep, which is like where all the kobolds live. His son Rograk did not like that his father was sacrificing their people to Prosh and led an uprising. And in the modern day, Rosnacht is doing sort of a similar thing to her mother, and it is implied they are part of the same lineage. Virat Maglan, the original name of the Cabal Patriarch, sort of had a Rosemary's Baby situation with his son, because his child he had with Phage the Untouchable, and it was just the dark god Kuber that he worshipped, his reincarnation. There is a line of at least 6 Toggos, one of which mastered fire in addition to the rock. And then let's close out today's video with the Urza lineage. So Urza, when he was mortal, had a son. His son's name was Harbin. Harbin's mom was Kayla, and there were some questions about his paternity. He might have been Mishra's child. Urza definitely thought that might be the case. However, Urza is the one who ended up raising him, or as much as Urza raised anybody. Harbin himself had 2 children, one of whom was Jarsel. Jarsel was a Dark Age wizard who was very famous and appeared in a lot of cards in the dark, at least a couple cards. Jarsel himself was a father, and his great-great-grandson was Joda. Joda, of course, fell into a fountain of youth back during the end of the Dark Ages and beginning of the Ice Ages, and he has been alive ever since. He's like 4,000 years old. It's also implied, but not confirmed, he may be the father of Adeliz, who might be him and Joyra's daughter. However, that's not confirmed, so I'm not going to get into it here. And that's all I have time for today. I'll do the second half of the list tomorrow.